Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at the Rigveda. It's one of the oldest texts that we have as humans, and it's full of these hymns that kind of paint a picture of an ancient worldview. But we're not just talking spirituality here. The Rigveda is packed with insights
Oh, yeah.
into astronomy, medicine, mathematics, even agriculture. It's really
Yeah,
fascinating.
it's like this window into this ancient civilization where science and spirituality were completely intertwined.
I was blown away by their astronomy knowledge.
Yeah.
They had these detailed observations of the sun, moon, and stars, even naming constellations like the Saptarishi, which we know as Ursa Major. I mean, how did they do that without telescopes?
They were very keen observers of the night sky. And the Rigveda is just filled with all these hymns that praise Surya, the sun god. Rigveda 1.35 really beautifully describes the sun's journey across the sky, highlighting its role as a life-giving force and a keeper of time. But it's more than just that. This journey represents a concept that was central to Vedic thought, this idea of cosmic order. Yeah, the idea that everything in the universe follows a divine rhythm.
So the sun's journey wasn't just a daily occurrence. It was a symbol of this much grander order.
Exactly.
That's really profound. And they didn't just stop at the sun, right? They also had a deep understanding of the moon.
Absolutely. The Rigveda refers to the moon as Chandra, and they associate it with coolness and recognize its cyclical waxing and waning. They clearly understood lunar phases. And this knowledge wasn't just for stargazing, if you think about it. Understanding celestial movements had practical implications, particularly for agriculture. The Rigveda even mentions solstices and seasonal shifts,
Wow.
which was crucial information for timing agricultural activities.
It's amazing to think they used the stars to plan their crops. It makes you realize just how in tune they were with the rhythms of nature. I'm curious, though, did they just see the sun and moon as celestial bodies, or was there more to it?
They saw more to it. The Rigveda doesn't just observe these celestial bodies, it personifies them as deities, with specific roles. This reflects their belief in a cosmos, where the divine and the natural world were completely intertwined.
So it's like science and mythology all rolled into one. It's pretty cool. Now let's shift gears and talk about medicine. I was fascinated by Rigveda 10.97, which is basically a hymn that celebrates the healing powers of plants and herbs. It's like their version of a medical textbook.
It really is. This hymn reveals their understanding of the medicinal properties found in nature. They used various plants to cure diseases, showing a very early form of herbal medicine.
And get this, they even had divine physician twins, the Ashvins.
Oh, yeah.
They sound like a medical dream team. What were their powers? And how did they fit into this Vedic understanding of healing?
The Ashvins were believed to have incredible healing powers. Hymns in the Rigveda describe them curing blindness, lameness, other ailments, highlighting their role in maintaining health and well-being. They weren't just mythological figures, though. Their presence points to this broader belief that healing wasn't just about practical remedies. It involved a spiritual aspect as well.
So it wasn't just about herbs and treatments. There was a spiritual element to their concept of health.
Exact.
Did that mean illness was seen as some kind of spiritual imbalance?
In a way, yes. The Rigveda viewed health as a balance between body and spirit, and illness could sometimes be attributed to malevolent forces. So healing involved not just physical remedies, but also spiritual interventions.
Spiritual intervention.
Like chants and prayers.
Wait, so they used specific hymns as incantations for healing. It's like they believed words themselves had the power to heal.
It's a captivating example of how spirituality and physical care were intertwined in their approach to medicine. It shows how deeply their beliefs permeated every aspect of their lives, including healing. And this interconnectedness, this blending of the practical and spiritual, is a recurring theme throughout the Rigveda.
That makes me think about their understanding of mathematics. I was surprised to find references to mathematical concepts in a collection of hymns.
The Rigveda constantly surprises us. The text uses basic numbers and even refers to surprisingly large numerical concepts, suggesting an early grasp of mathematical principles. For example, they frequently use terms for powers of 10, like 100 or 1,000, showing they were comfortable working with larger quantities.
And it went beyond basic counting, right?
Did.
They use these principles in very specific ways, like in constructing their ritual altars.
Precisely. The precise measurements and geometric principles used in constructing these altars weren't arbitrary. They were designed to align with cosmic order. reflecting the belief that even ritual spaces should harmonize with the universe. They even used specific geometric principles like the Pythagorean theorem centuries before Pythagoras
Wow.
to ensure the altars were perfectly proportioned.
It's mind-blowing to think about them incorporating such advanced math into their spiritual practices. And speaking of their worldview, their concept of time seems to tie into both math and astronomy.
Absolutely. They didn't see time in a linear way like we often do. They viewed it as cyclical, with years, months, and days following repeating patterns. This cyclical understanding is central to both Vedic mathematics and astronomy, highlighting their recognition of the cyclical nature of the cosmos and how it influenced everything.
So they saw these patterns and cycles everywhere, in the stars, in time, even in their rituals. It's all starting to come together now.
It is.
But let's get down to earth literally. Agriculture must have been pretty important to a civilization so connected to nature.
Agriculture was absolutely vital to the Vedic people. The Rigveda dedicates numerous hymns to prosperous crops and livestock. For example, Rigveda 4.57 specifically asks for blessings for bountiful fields. They weren't just passively hoping for good harvests, though. They had specific deities associated with rain and fertility, like Indra, the god of rain and storms, who is often called upon to bring the much-needed water for their crops.
I've heard of Indra. He's a pretty important figure in Hindu mythology, right?
Exactly. Hymns describe him breaking open the clouds to release the rain, ensuring the land's fertility and prosperity. But he wasn't the only one. There's also Parjanya.
Parjanya.
Yeah, another rain god, specifically linked to fertility and growth. Some hymns practically plead with Parjanya to bless the land with this life-giving water, demonstrating just how vital rain was to their survival.
Sounds like they had a whole pantheon of gods dedicated to ensuring a good harvest.
They did.
But did they just rely on prayers? Or did they have practical agricultural knowledge as well?
Their agricultural practices weren't just based on faith. They developed a deep understanding of the land and how to cultivate it effectively. The Rigveda mentions techniques like plowing irrigation, even crop rotation, showing a practical approach to farming alongside their spiritual beliefs. This blend of spiritual reverence and practical knowledge, recognizing the interconnectedness of everything, is a recurring theme throughout the Rigveda.
It's incredible how, for them, it all comes back to this interconnectedness, this beautiful tapestry of knowledge where astronomy, medicine, mathematics, and agriculture are all woven together by their spiritual beliefs.
Precisely. What's fascinating is that these weren't just separate fields of knowledge for the Vedic people. They were all interconnected, guided by a spiritual thread. The Rigveda reveals a worldview where everything from the movement of the stars to the healing of the sick was seen as an expression of a divine cosmic order, often referred to as Raita.
Raita, you've mentioned this before. It sounds like a pretty important concept.
It is.
Can you break it down for us? What exactly is Raita?
Raita is this fundamental principle in Vedic thought. It's the underlying harmony and balance that governs the entire universe. Think of it as the cosmic blueprint, the set of natural laws that dictates everything, from the movement of celestial bodies to the cycles of life and death.
So by understanding and aligning themselves with Raita, the Vedic people could essentially live in harmony with the cosmos.
Exactly. Every activity, whether it was planting crops, healing the sick, or performing rituals, was seen as a way to participate in and maintain this cosmic order. It's like they saw the sacred in everything they did.
That's such a different way of looking at the world than how we often see things today. It's like they saw a deeper meaning and purpose behind every action, every observation.
And this worldview, this harmonious blend of the practical and the spiritual, had a profound impact. It laid the groundwork for later advancements in Indian civilization. Think of it like this. The Rigveda planted the seeds of knowledge that would blossom into some of the most remarkable achievements in Indian history.
So these weren't just interesting historical tidbits. These ideas, these seeds of knowledge, actually influenced the course of history.
It did.
That's incredible. Can you give us some specific examples? Like, how did their understanding of astronomy impact later generations?
We'll take Vedic astronomy, for example. The observations and concepts found in the Rigveda weren't just forgotten. They influenced later Indian astronomical texts, like the Surya Siddhanta, which is a significant text in Indian astronomy even today.
And what about their approach to medicine? With their herbal remedies and spiritual healing practices, did those ideas have a lasting impact as well?
Absolutely. Vedic medicine, with its focus on the healing power of plants and the connection between mind and body, laid the foundation for Ayurveda, a holistic system of medicine that is still practiced today, thousands of years later. It's amazing to think that these ancient ideas continue to have such relevance and influence in our modern world.
It really is mind-blowing to think that these ideas, these seeds of knowledge planted thousands of years ago, continue to blossom and influence us even today. It speaks to the enduring power of human curiosity, our innate desire to understand the world around us, both physically and spiritually.
And the Rigveda, with its remarkable blend of scientific observation, spiritual insight, and practical wisdom, offers us a fascinating glimpse into the minds of our ancestors. It shows us how they sought to make sense of their place in the cosmos, to connect with something larger than themselves.
We've covered so much ground today, from the sun's journey across the sky to the healing power of plants, from the geometry of altars to the rhythms of agricultural life. It's like we've gone on this incredible journey through time, exploring the interconnectedness of knowledge in the Rigveda. What would you say is the key takeaway for our listeners?
I think one of the key takeaways is that knowledge isn't meant to be compartmentalized. It's all connected, just like we are all connected, to this vast and mysterious universe. The Rigveda reminds us that there's a deeper meaning and purpose behind everything, a cosmic order that binds us all together.
And how can our listeners explore this incredible text further? Where can they go to learn more about the Rigveda and its profound insights?
The best way to really grasp it is to dive into the source itself. There are several translations available, and I really encourage you to explore them. You'll be amazed by the poetic language, the vivid imagery, and the sheer intellectual curiosity that leaps off the page, even after thousands of years.
It's like having a direct conversation with our ancestors, isn't it?
It is.
Hearing their hopes, their fears, their questions about the universe,
Yeah.
all expressed in this incredibly rich and evocative language. What a privilege to be able to connect with them across the vastness of time.
Exactly. And who knows what other surprising insights might be hidden within those verses, just waiting for us to rediscover and understand them. In a modern context, the Rigveda is a treasure trove of wisdom waiting to be unearthed.
It makes you wonder what other treasures of knowledge are tucked away in ancient texts from all over the world, just waiting to be unearthed and reinterpreted for a new generation. It's like a global treasure hunt for wisdom.
It really is. And it reminds us that learning is a continuous journey, a constant exploration of the past, present, and future. The Rigveda, with its timeless wisdom and enduring relevance, is a perfect example of how the past can illuminate our present and inspire our future.
As we wrap up our deep dive into the Rigveda, I want to leave you with this thought. The next time you look up at the night sky or marvel at the intricate workings of nature, remember the Vedic people who, thousands of years ago, looked at the same world with a sense of awe and wonder. Try to see the world through their eyes. Feel that same sense of connection to the cosmos, and let it inspire you to seek knowledge and understanding in all that you do.
Perhaps like them, we can rediscover that sense of interconnectedness, that deep connection to the cosmos, to each other, and to the enduring mysteries that lie at the heart of existence.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through time and knowledge. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the Rigveda. Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.